Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. I always say that every single time.
Yeah.
And I always every
It's
time
like a
I edit
tagline.
it. Welcome
We should do
back.
shirts say "Welcome back, everybody."
We should. But we are here, and it's just Kaleb and I.
Yep.
And we're just hanging out in the studio. Beginning of summer. My kids are out of school.
And mine is not.
When is yours finished?
Not for another, I guess a week from today. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Late,
long time.
right?
That's very long. Do they start after Labor Day?
No,
What?
I don't know.
That's
Don't ask me.
terrible.
It's crazy. But
Yeah.
you know what? Here's what I say is like, you don't have anything else to do, kid. So just go to school. It's
Wow.
fine. Like, I don't feel bad for you at all.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah. It is funny because I think we got after the week of school ended or whatever, we got the Monday morning district email. They're like, "Oh, hey, remember, school starts August 13th," and I'm like, "August
Stop it.
13th? It's the middle of summer." That's what I feel like. But I think so many of us grew up like May or Memorial Day to Labor Day was summer.
Yeah.
And that is not the case at all.
Yeah.
Because basically like once July is done, we're like, okay, summer's over now.
Yeah.
Let's jump into, whatever.
Time
normal-
flies. 2025 is like halfway over.
That
Let
is
that
also
sink
crazy.
in.
That is really crazy.
Right?
And what have you done with your 2025? It's a real question.
Maybe you could take some time this summer and reflect on that.
Yeah, I'm leaving on vacation in 2 weeks, something like that.
Nice.
And going to Michigan and doing a whole lot of nothing, which would be great.
It's good.
Better than hopefully I told you about the last Michigan vacation for us.
Was that the one where you like
Had
got
no power.
Yes.
There was E. coli in the lake. Literally last night, my youngest was like, "I really hope we have power this year." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yeah."
Are you going to the same cabin? I hope
Same
not.
place.
Same place.
Different cottage in like
Okay, so it should be
the
fun.
area of Lake Michigan. But yeah,
Nice.
it'll be fun.
Well, that's the
And
season. Hopefully, all of you listening get a chance to create some space and rest, and whether that's traveling or just even in your own area, staycation,
Yeah.
as it were. But carve out that intentional time. I feel like it's come up all the time when we have these conversations with guests over the last season, like that. Those things don't happen accidentally. You know, and it's like when you do a trip like you're talking about, when you have to travel, obviously there's a lot of planning and logistics that go into like arranging that. But we often don't put the same sort of like planning and intentionality into the more day-to-day, week-to-week,
Yeah.
month-to-month type
Yeah.
rhythms that are healthy and helpful and rejuvenating. So,
or sometimes it feels like I'm a really good procrastinator and I do very, very well under a deadline. But when I have loosey-goosey stuff, especially throughout the year, I'm like, I could do it next week or the week after or the month after or whatever. But when I have a vacation or when I have some sort of really hard deadline of like, I have to get, if you go on vacation for a week, you have to work 2 weeks of work
Yep,
to
to be
go
free.
on that one
Yep.
is the reality. It's never just like, I'm just going to stop and I'll just pick it up where I left off.
Yep.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of intentionality about that. And you're like, man, what if I did that all year long?
Yeah.
And I just go, but it's hard because, if you're working a job or even a church role that you're just like, we can do the set design in 2 months and not in June or July or something.
well, that's where
like
I think the sort of pre-planning and preparation comes in. Like even a little bit ago, you and I were talking about how you were saying how once fall ministry season hits, sort of around September, it's like go till Christmas, And so that's reality and understandable. And so if that's the case in that season, how do you take the intentionality and planning that is required for that season to be successful and move it outside of it?
Yeah.
And say like over the summer months, take time to say, what is the kind of fall ministry run that I would want to craft? If I could design a rhythm, design a flow, design rest, design development, design team community things for my volunteers or my whatever it is, like map out what a optimal fall run would look like before you get to fall. And I think your chances of some semblance of that happening go way, way up. Like obviously there's unexpected things that happen, but you might get 85% of what you planned, which is way better than just
20%,
winging it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It reminds me of like when we met with Sam at like Buffalo Grove School District.
yeah.
And like a school district operates so they have to operate within the calendar year. They can't have a bunch of construction workers doing construction in a school in September when everybody's in class. And so they were so intentional about the work that has to get done between June, July, and August so that we can open a new, area of the building or, whatever it looks like, and just going, what is that in our context in ministry? And yeah, I mean, just like you were saying, I used to literally dread September 1st because I knew that was the last, even getting off of vacation in the summer, whatever my summer vacation was every year, I would get home, I'd be like, dang it, the next time I'm going to have that is in Christmas, in January. Yeah, like December 25th is when my next like break will start. And going, how do I make it not feel like this giant drag for 6 months? Because it's typically the longest run that we would have between vacations was, let's say July 15th when I get off vacation to, Christmas Eve or whatever, because second semester, we've got spring break, we've got Easter, we've got random little, things in there that make it break up a little bit more. But that September to January, Christmas run was always, I just dreaded it every single year. Yeah. And every ministry has their own like, we're launching this new blank thing in men's ministry and women's ministry is doing a conference now in October and, all of this stuff. And you're just like, oh my gosh, dude, I just need to like get the crap done that I need to do. So, plan your fall now because your future self will thank you.
That's right. Yeah.
Very much so.
And so much of it, I think too, like is protecting the things that you need personally. And getting a rhythm and a plan, and as I think about even like different conversations we've had over the season, this time around, like practices of like Sabbath and journaling and solitude and fun, like rest, like that kind of like activity that gives you joy and energy, like those kind of things are just as important to helping you execute that big conference in a helpful way as the pre-production of the conference. When it comes to, when you look at it in the long term, right? You might get this conference done. You might get the next conference done. You might get the third conference done. But like when you extrapolate that sort of grind over 5-10 years, like how are you feeling at the end of all that? And it's so much more about the aggregate and the average of the kind of rhythm we're able to create versus like the small moments, and that's just easy to get lost in like I often don't think about my calendar as a microcosm of a 5-year run, right? Like it's just, what do I do in the next week? What do I do in the next month? Where am I going? And it's not, how am I creating rhythms that will lead me to a good place in the long term,
What's the you've said it in other episodes, the people underestimate what you can do
they overestimate what you can do in 1 year, and underestimate what you can do in 10 years. Yeah. And of course I can't remember who said that now, but somebody smart.
Like, dude, you think about that? Like, man, think back to even 5 years ago, what you were doing and thinking about where you're at now and going, oh my gosh, like I had no idea that all the things that I could have planned, if I would have done these little tiny things to help me get to a point 5 years later, 10 years later, of doing something. So
we were just with a bunch of church staff that focus in the IT world yesterday. Kaleb and I were, and when you think about all of the learning and training and certification and technical knowledge that you can gain to be an expert in that field, same in any field, production, audio, music, skills, like there's all kinds of these, when you think about your professional development that exists that you could grow in. And, just thinking about that conversation we had with them and all the things that they were throwing out of like, hey, we could do this, you could do this, you could do this. It's like, yeah, but you have to plan to do that. Like, hey, I know for the next 12 months until we get to next summer, when we get 12 months from now, I want to be better at X. What is that? Yeah. And then how am I going to take steps to move forward in that area? And I just feel like the summer is a great time to sort of just step back and have those sort of evaluation, exercises in all your areas of life, right? So whether it's professional development, family, rest, ministry strategy with your teams, like what are the things when I come 12 months from now and I'm sitting here on vacation or have a little bit of a breather in the summer of 2026, where would I like to be at? Yeah. And what are the practical things that I can implement over the next 12 months? Don't think about it in like a week or a month. Yeah. It's like over 12 months to move closer to that goal.
That whole thing yesterday. So for those of you listening, we were at a church IT network roundtable. You and I have lived in the production, worship, weekend experience type things, and
for a hot minute, I was over IT.
I was too.
Church. Yeah,
I was too.
You know what I did? I migrated their email system to Google, whatever G Suite or whatever. Yeah. It was, oh my gosh.
It was really interesting. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I hadn't really interacted with him before, but he was on staff at he is now on staff at one of my previous churches, okay?
Yep.
And we had run into each other, I think, once before at a site visit or something like that. And I was just like catching up with him and seeing how things are going and who's actually there now versus the people that I knew. And I shared with him, I was like, I have never had a good relationship with my IT person ever. Like there was more butting heads in a relational aspect than I ever had with any other staff member at the church, both in leadership of things that I disagreed with, but like me and the IT person were like, it was bad. And I was sitting in the back yesterday. I'm just going, man, what are the things that I should have done to go to something like this to get a little bit more context of their world? Because I'm sitting in the back
threat
room
mitigation,
like, dude,
phishing. They were talking like phishing tests. Yes. They're trying to fake their staff out like with fake phishing to try to see if they fall for it. Like,
yes. And I literally was just like, oh man. Also, like as an Enneagram 6, I was like, man, you guys are doing a great job. Just like all of these risk mitigation things that they're doing.
So fun.
But I literally was just like, dude, I didn't have the full context of this. And then for about a year and a half, I oversaw all of IT. Yeah. And that was a challenging, person to oversee as well in another role at a church. Because they just are wired differently, just like I'm wired differently than my worship pastor or whatever that looks like. And so it was. I don't know. If you're a production person in church, go build a relationship with your IT guy.
That makes me think of, because I feel like a theme that we're kind of picking at here is sort of how if you're able to get a little bit more space in your calendar over summer, how can you use it in a productive way? And maybe some of the productive ways you could use it is intentional connection and relationship with some of those key staff counterparts that you have, whether it's someone that you need to collaborate better with and could benefit from like building that relationship, or someone that you don't really know well and you could develop that relationship.
So a couple years ago, I need to see if I can find this photo. A couple years ago, I was in Phoenix and I was having like lunch or dinner with Stan Endicott. And Stan has been a huge mentor of mine for a very long time since I've known him, and I have some like bizarre going back a very long time before we knew each other with him. And one of the things that he wrote, because I think I had just started here, and he was just like picking my brain and how things were going and where I saw things as they were today versus where I wanted to see them, long term. And one of the things he wrote down, and he wrote this down on a napkin, like took a picture of in the United Club on the way home, was because I literally just read this yesterday. He goes, bother the weakest, weirdest people on your staff and get to know them and understand their world and their like perspective of the organization and the things that they're struggling with. And I was just like, that sounds terrible. Like I don't want to go do that. But the way that he said it was just like that you will have so much to learn from the people that are the strangest to you in your organization, or that you don't get or you don't understand their world. And it will make you better at your organization by understanding their world. And I just saw like a micro glimpse into that yesterday. And I was just like,
and the relational equity that you will have at a meta level in the organization is so much like we were talking, who I was talking, okay, there was a church staff member I was talking with there who's from Indiana, and he was talking about some of the transition they've had to do with leadership and things like that. And like, you're always only a step or two away from like a big shakeup in an organization where someone leaves from a role or something happens or a restructure happens or something. And it's like in those moments when, if you as a leader are going to then have to ask for trust from the team as a whole, if you've been doing that for the last year, like the amount of latitude you have to try things and innovate and make changes to the normal, like it's just so much greater because there's a trust and they know that you've been interested in their reality and you're not making decisions like disregarding them, but you actually care. And the things that you're doing, even if they don't maybe understand the changes yet, they trust that you're thinking about it with everyone's best interest in mind. That's really good. Yeah,
the relational equity that you can build in that way. And it's just, when I think of IT specifically in that context, we should totally get some sort of IT.
I didn't. I did not think that this conversation was going to go to veer off to IT. That's hilarious.
I didn't either. But it would be very interesting to sit in that context because so much of our worlds now, at least for me, in production overlap to the point where it was like it was hand in hand of you are equally as much on my team as we have to be on yours, and it was never that. It was always arguing
So that's interesting because I think probably people listening that have been in the sort of creative worship production space and have been sort of plugged into conversations around that for the last few years have heard a lot of conversations around like the stage and the booth or like worship and production being integrated on the same team. And it's like, as production needs and systems evolve, like how does that shift to actually expand to be it's not just those groups, it's production and IT are the same team and really unified. Like that'll be something that I think has to be talked about more.
Yeah, the best I ever saw it was probably at Bayside out in Sacramento. This is years and years and years ago, when most of the core team who was there was on staff and leading stuff. But like their relationship with their network, person on staff was way greater than anything that I had ever experienced in a church context. But you don't know. I like what you just said about like you never know how close you are to like a massive shakeup in the church or whatever. I mean, I was literally talking to a guy yesterday. He's like my senior. We had a massive senior pastor. Moral failure about alcohol, and it rocked their church so greatly, and their staff too. He's like the number of staff that have transitioned in the last 18 months is insane, and I'm one of the only ones left who was here through all of it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, that sucks. And so having those things in your back pocket and the relational equity with the staff members, volunteers,
it's that kind of relational development is always good and needed, even in the best of times. But you never know when it's going to be critical. Like it goes from being like, wow, this is really nice to like, this is mission critical, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So
I think that's a good rule for life too. Because whether it's in your church context or something crazy happens in your leadership in your church, or a family member is in a car accident, or whatever that is, like it literally is just like a split second, and your life can be flipped upside down. And unfortunately, in ministry, we are seeing like so much of that everywhere. Just normal fun ministry things
happens. You never know what's going to happen next.
So I think for anybody who's listening, like this is, let's see, I was going to talk about the season thing. So this is technically our third season that we are technically wrapping up, which is really, really crazy. And for those of you who might be new, we do seasons because we record all these podcasts in person, and Kaleb and I want to be able to go on vacation and do.
And all the people that we want to have as guests
are also on vacation.
Oddly, also go on vacation. That's weird. I don't know why.
So honestly, we started the podcast following the ministry rhythm, a ministry season rhythm, because we found so much of our guests and audience is following that anyway. So we're like, why don't we just pause and do that? So this is kind of the wrap up to season 3 for a little bit of the summer here, and then as we get closer into the beginning of the school year in August, at some point, we'll kind of launch back up with some new guests that we have in the hopper.
Oh, yeah. We'll be recording all summer long.
We'll be recording all summer, yeah, which will be fun. And so, one of the things that I would love feedback on is if you guys have a guest or somebody that you know of that you think would be really good, and you understand the context of these conversations that we have at this table, we would love to get connected with them. And if you know of anybody, like shoot us a DM on Instagram at Sunday's Coming Podcast. Send us an email, hello@sundayscomingpodcast.com, I think is what it is. No, not .org. I think it's .com. Because we only know so many people, and there's lots of people out there that are doing really cool stuff that we would love to talk about and kind of hear how they're doing ministry in their context. But yeah, I mean, I hope that so many of you guys are able to use this summer as a reset, recharge point for you, because so often my summers, especially in July when I would take a bunch of vacation, was the only way that I could kind of make it through the rest of the
it's like
ministry
triage.
year.
It's not a nice cap to a good rhythm. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die if I don't have this.
Yeah. And use your vacation, man.
Yeah.
Don't let them pay you that vacation on the way out. Use it all, dude. Like, that's literally why they give it to you. And
unless you're leaving soon, then maybe save it.
Then
I don't know. I mean, you do use your own judgment.
I think every time I had left the church job, I had used up all my vacation. I think the last one I actually had to pay out.
What?
Because,
dude, that's
which
crazy.
I was so annoyed by, because we
the way they accrued it was you'd taken more than you had. Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. I'm 8 months in. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, just give it to me.
Yeah.
But
no, that's good. I think that like intentionality with even how am I going to be intentional? Like, I have to choose. The intentionality is so layered, right? Like, I'm going to be intentional about rest and vacation. I have to be intentional about choosing to do that. I have to be intentional about creating spaces to like we were just saying, not have all my rest kind of like in one bucket. Like, I'm just counting on this to be my recharge for the year.
Which I'm terrible at, because I use that a lot. And I've said that here before,
You
too.
go on vacation plenty. What are you talking about?
I do. I do.
I mean, I'm not kidding. You've got a good rhythm going. You're learning.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Practicing these habits, right?
Yeah. I mean, use it while you can, because and I think too, like, I see so many people that are like, while I'm on vacation, like, don't worry, I'll be checking my email. I'm like, don't, dude. Like, why? Like, nobody else cares.
Yeah.
Get your crap done. Make sure your team is set up for success, and then go.
Yeah.
And be okay leaving and shutting off your phone.
Communication. This is just like in every area of life. Like, communication just goes so far, and like saves you a lot of stress. Because if you're stressing about like things you're supposed to be doing or you need to do, legit things, and you're going on vacation, we'll just communicate to the people involved, like, hey, this is going to take a little longer. Here's an expectation. I'll check in with you in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, as long as they're not in the dark, people are very fine with understanding what's going on. They also take vacations, so they relate. They know, So it's like, versus just kind of holding it all internally as if you don't want to. No one can know that I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
It needs to feel like I didn't go on vacation. It's like, well, no, I think everyone understands.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And that's normal. And I was talking to a kid last week that I'm working with out in North Carolina, and I was just like, I think I was asking him like how far out he's scheduling the planning center. He's like, like 3 weeks. I'm like, you should do more in the summertime, because I know what I'm doing until August 15th right now on my calendar. Like, it is, I have just about every week I know, hey, if I'm gone or we're doing something on a weekend somewhere, like, it's in my calendar. And so if my church were to go, hey man, are you here on August 3rd? I go, nope, I'm not. Sorry, dude. Like, I'm out that weekend. And so most of your volunteers.
I went through my whole calendar and I planned it out through August, like on my calendar, and then like, I don't know, at our house we still have like a big paper calendar. So like, make sure everything on my digital calendar matches what's on the paper calendar. And it's like,
I like that. We should probably do that. Well, I don't know. I have so many calendars on my phone. It is like, I got all of the kids' baseball games, my personal calendar, my work calendar, Cassie's work calendar, Cassie's personal calendar, and then the family calendar.
I have way less than you have, so it's way less.
Yeah.
But
So put in your
speaking
calendar.
of calendars, though, and intentionally planning refreshment and rest, there is something coming up in the fall,
October,
that they should get on their calendar now if they want to be a part of it, right?
Yep.
So what is that?
We just released yesterday, I think, to the public. We had been promoting it to anybody that had attended in the past. But the Worship Classic, this is a golf tournament for church leaders. It is a blast. I used to go as a church, as a client, and took my team. And it is literally just a day where you have nothing that you have to do. Mm-hmm. You can golf if you want. You could sleep in the golf cart if you want. You could sleep in the clubhouse. You could do whatever you want. Yeah. You can go get your beach chair and hang out in a sand trap somewhere. But it's going to be really, really fun. So this year, and one of the things that we've done every year is basically move it. So I think the first year we were in Orlando, and then Nashville, Atlanta, Dallas last year, and this year we're going back to Nashville. And so because most churches won't pay for you as a staff member to fly to come play golf with us for this really fun event, we have tacked on with SALT Conference, which is happening the 8th through the 10th in Nashville at Brentwood Baptist Church. And so we're just up the street at Hermitage Golf Course in Nashville, and it's going to be super, super fun. I was there last week doing a quote unquote site visit, and it was great. And there's it's very, very bizarre. They have all these like sheep all over the property, and just like running around and eating the grass. Like I don't understand why they're there, but
they're like managing the foliage, dude.
Hey, whatever.
It's
It's cheaper than greenskeeper, mower. I guess. Yeah. But it will be super, super fun. So we do like a ton of like massive prizes and giveaways. So like I get invited to like corporate golf tournaments all the time, but I'm like, I don't want to spend $1,200, for a foursome to go play or whatever that's like. And it's typically for a nonprofit or a fundraiser or something like that. This is literally free. Yeah. So like if you're, hey, I don't want to spend $1,000 to do it. Like all you got to do is get there. Yep. Food, drinks, cigars if you like that. Giveaways, like tons of giveaways. Yeah. I think we'll do the golf cannon again this year, which is really fun.
So if you're a creative or production guy and you're looking to build a relationship with your IT person, bring
your
them
IT
to
guy.
The golf tournament. It'll be great.
I would love to see it.
We want to see it. If you bring your IT person to the golf tournament, you need to tell us.
Please.
We want to meet them, and we need to like get that to be a thing. Bring your IT person along.
Maybe we'll just have a game of picking out who the IT person is.
We should do a giveaway, or like who are the IT people in the room, and they get a special gift if they come. Something like that.
Yeah, they. That would be very fun. But it is
again,
super
it's
cool.
free. Like that's the thing to take away from it. It's free. If you're involved in serving at your church, creating Sunday worship experiences, ministry experiences, whatever it is. We've got youth pastors that come, youth student worship and production, kids
senior
worship
pastors.
production, senior pastors, executive pastors, worship leaders, production people, hopefully IT people, communication directors, like anything like that. This is just a place where you can, one, be in a space where you're away from your day-to-day with your team and just refresh and connect and have fun together, and also build a lot of relationships and connect with people from across the country that are doing the same thing that you're doing in a beautiful place. And then shout out to SALT. They're doing, like Kaleb said, their conference is the next day. So this is the 6th.
The golf tournament is on the 7th.
Oh, the 7th?
The 7th, the Tuesday, the 7th. And then Wednesday evening is the beginning of SALT Conference. And if you haven't been to SALT Conference, you should 100% go. Luke and his team have done a really, really good job of putting that on. And they crush it every year. And I would say if you think Philo is geared towards heavy production, SALT is very creative, that leans towards experiential. Yeah. So it's heavily worship, creative pastor, comms, marketing team, and then a whole wing of production and kind of merging
Which
all
is
of those
cool because
together.
there's, if you come to the golf tournament with your team, there's something for everyone at SALT as
Yes.
far as their tracks and what they're interested in and things. So
and it's in Nashville in October. It's like beautiful that time of year. So let's see, I'll put it in the link in our bio on Instagram, or you can head to theworshipclassic.org to register you and your team. Spots are like, I think we had another 40 people register yesterday. So it will go very, very, very quickly. I would say by the end of June, it will be almost full. So this comes out very soon. So yeah.
Be intentional about being intentional to bring your team to the golf tournament.
Yes. Yeah, it is super, super fun. Honestly too, and I've told people this, like if you don't have a good relationship with your senior pastor or executive pastor probably golfs already. It's a high probability. And so you should bring them, and it would be a really good opportunity for you to spend 4 hours on a golf course with your leadership in your church, and you'd be surprised at the good conversations that happen and stuff like that. So,
or another idea, if you have a couple church people, like counterparts at other churches in your area, say there's a production person or a worship person that you want to get to know better,
put them on your team.
Invite them with you. Bring them along.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's easy. I feel like we've talked about this before. Like I experienced this when I was at church. Was like, you're so focused on what you're doing day to day that you don't have time to get to know the people at the churches like down the street from you.
Yeah.
So I think if that, what a great way to kick off the relationship. Hey, I love to get to know you better. Come to Nashville with me.
Yep.
They might think that's a little weird, like a little fast, a little much but with a try.
Hey, it's a easy way to do that. And Nashville's pretty much central in the country, so it's very, very easy to get in and out of. But yeah, it's going to be super, super fun, and I'm very, very, very excited. And all the fun things we're going to do.
Awesome.
There's going to be lots of amazing prizes and all the things. Traegers. We'll probably give away a big green egg this year.
Ooh, nice.
We haven't done a big green egg yet, and I always tell Shelby on our team, like I just try to give away stuff that I really want, and I'm assuming that other people would also want that. But if you look at the prizes, it's typically things that I just really want and would love to have. And so it's great. So October 7th, theworshipclassic.org. You can follow that account on @theworshipclassic on Instagram. And we will be there. Kaleb and I will be driving around and hanging out and talking to people. And we are super, super excited. And then again, promoting SALT. We love those guys. And you should 100% go to the SALT conference the day after. And we're super, super stoked for that. So we'll see you there. And I think that's
it for season 3.
I think that's just about it for season 3.
Amazing.
So again, thank you all for the listens and feedback and comments that we've gotten. We love doing this, and it's a joy to be able to just have lots of fun conversations at this table. The other asks would be, if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram @SundaysComingPodcast. Share anything that we post. We have some funny clips that we post on there sometimes. And so follow that and rate, I guess. Subscribe, whatever it is.
Rate, review.
All of these are also on YouTube too. Yeah. So if you want the full video, if you're not watching the video on Spotify, head to YouTube to do the same thing. Yep. So we're stoked for that. And
for season 4. Like, honestly, like we'll be having we've been talking about the guests we're going to have over the summer and into the fall of season 4. And it's going to be some really great conversations that will be, I think, really valuable.
So again, if you have people that you think would be great for us to have a conversation with, send us a DM @SundaysComingPodcast on Instagram or hello@sundayscomingpodcast.com. For the email. And then we're going to do a giveaway as well. So I don't actually know what it's going to be. Probably some merch. So if you want to win some merch
it's a mystery box.
A mystery box of Sundays Coming Podcast merch. This will be a clip on Instagram. So share, subscribe, follow us, and tag a friend in the comments, and we'll be entered to win some fun Sundays Coming merch. And so we're excited.
Yep.
So anyways,
have a great summer.
I hope you guys all have a great summer. Get some rest. Go get sunburned somewhere. Go hang out with your kids, and go have some great backyard barbecues with your neighbors.
Love it.
Yep. We will see you all next time. Thanks.
Next time.